These two examples are actually accurate depictions of the scene that we usually see when we are looking at people. And this is also been proven scientifically by using this eye tracking device. This was done for a commercial, an ad online. And you can see how people are all attending to the baby's face, and they are rarely looking at the content. So the solution for this ad company was to turn the baby around so that the baby is actually looking at the text, and that forced people, kind of led people to diverge their attention from the faces to what the baby was looking at, the texts. So Marge Livingstone, she examines the interface of sensory neuroscience and art by uncovering strategies used by artists to generate artwork. And she basically decouples the notion of beauty from artwork and exploits the advances in sensory encoding by doing so. One of the drawbacks of her work, and she openly admits this, is the fact that she is reducing the aesthetic experience to a very perceptual one and disregarding the emotional responses of the viewers. So I've shown you 4 different approaches taken by different researchers in trying to understand what aesthetics is. And it seems pretty obvious that before we try to tackle what aesthetics is, we need to make sure what the kind of definition we are using for aesthetics, because all the research that I've shown you, they kind of use these interchangeably, maybe with the exception of Marge's work, which she uses the art as subjects of studies. So lastly, so what can neuroaesthetics answer? And this is a suggestion made by Bevel Conway last year, and he thinks that for the best synergy to occur between neuroscience and aesthetics, we need to pretty much abandon the idea of finding a universal principle for beauty. Let's forget about beauty for a while and focus on our universal need to actually experience beauty, because it is true that everyone does experience beauty, but what we consider to be beautiful is different. It's a subjective thing, and thus unapproachable by science at this point. And he suggests that we can get closer to understanding the neural machinery capable of producing this diversity of beauty reactions by looking at the basic science behind sensory encoding, decision-making, reward, and emotion. And similar to how we can understand how language works by looking at the common machinery that is in our language area but can produce multitudes of different languages. And I want to conclude by showing you this image. I think this pretty much summarizes the challenge that we face in neuroaesthetics. So this is a painting created by 2 artists in the mid-90s. They asked 1,000 people to describe their favorite painting, to give them an idea about their favorite subject, favorite color, what they consider beautiful, and they just combined all of them together in a statistical program, and this was the end result. So it's called USA's Most Wanted Painting. So yeah, let's avoid that. So that's it. That took longer than I thought, but thank you for paying attention. Any questions? Or are you ready to leave? And by the way, if you're curious, I have the book with me, so come up and take a look if you want to know more about Marge's work. She really is an interesting person, too.
I actually have a quick question about how people sometimes tend to use art as therapy for traumatic brain injuries. So my question was, all these people that suffered these brain injuries that didn't previously do art but somehow became very artistic and adopted art mannerisms. Is that like some sort of like automatic brain response to like helping itself heal?
That's
You know,
a very
adopting
interesting
art?
point. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah, but then there's the question: why doesn't it occur in every people?
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a good point. That's something that I didn't think about. Yeah, it could be a natural protective response
Maybe, yeah.
to like, make the connection, reconnect the lost parts of the brain, for example. It could have to do with like neuronal plasticity and trying to excite different parts of the brain at the same time to make that harmonic response. Yeah, but interesting. Yes.
Are there neural disorders or mental disorders where people don't have the ability to appreciate aesthetics, or is it true across the board that everyone has some degree of what they prefer to look at?
There is, even not considering a disorder, there is a great variety among just general population. And I can't remember his name on top of my head. There is this one researcher who studies that specifically, ethnic or something like that. And he has a hypothesis, he has a theory about how people are sensitive or not sensitive to aesthetics by using two different factors. Can't remember what those were, sorry. But if you look up aesthetics and T factor and K factor, you might find some leadway. Yeah, but like those are the keywords that comes up in my mind right now. You can't go on beyond that. Yes.
With the patients who have FTD, is there a failure limited to like their motor skills to be able to speak, or were they actually unable, like did it progress to the point where they were unable to like even write and
For FTD,
form language?
it was verbal and written language that they were progressively losing the function of. So at the very end of their on their track, they couldn't understand any word at all. They couldn't communicate. They couldn't write. At first, they couldn't speak, and then like they couldn't understand the meaning of words. Yeah. Yes.
So we're talking about creativity. There's the generation of sort of old, possible, or unrealistic ideas, and then you kind of choose the useful ones. So for generating all of those possibilities, I'm assuming there's some range of people who are really good at this and very bad at this. But what are some factors for being good at it? Not just neurologically, but is it something you get better at practice, or is it exposure? Do you know anything about that?
If it were a fixed property of people, I imagine there won't be any like those how to be creative instruction books out there. Like there are a lot of people who actually look at them and say that they are effective. So I think it can be a learned process to increase your creativity somewhat. But I'm not. In terms of so biologically, I have no idea like where that would come from, where to start looking for an answer for that. Yeah.
You mentioned briefly a reward system for viewing. Can you maybe explain like, what reward is and how that works?
So you mean in association with what? Where did I mention reward? Sorry.
This was at the end of one of your slides. It said something about like we get something back from seeing something that's beautiful. Like we enjoy seeing something that's beautiful.
I think it might have been during the brain injuries part of the lecture.
Was it with the study of like looking for the beauty center?
Oh,
And
okay.
that part was like a precursor to like a larger cascade in the brain.
So is this what you were referring to, or? Sorry, can you like come to me afterwards? Are there any other questions? If not, the time is up. So-
Here's my makeup paper too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sent me the videos from last week.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Can I take a look at the book?
Yeah, sure. Was that the part about like pop suckling and like?
Yeah, maybe it was there. I don't know. I can see on the bottom of one of the slides.
So
Yeah.
maybe I was like criticizing.
It's more rewarding than cocaine. Yeah, maybe it was right before that. Reward system.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's yeah. You know how the reward system is pretty nicely characterized in your in neurosciences?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
we're just basically just starting to talk about
Oh, yeah.
reward systems in my cognitive science class. And, there's like different kinds of like rewards. They're basically internal, right?
Uh-huh.
And like when you do something, there's like a value